as Jonathan Hernandez comes out and takes the lead. Oh, we got lots of stuff going on here. Oh my god, there is death everywhere. Everyone got tight and have just gone up and slammed the wall. Boomerang shoes in that one, Jordan Lee. A lot of people just getting very tight there on the corner exit. It'd be almost easier to tell you who was not involved. I can see Jonathan Hernandez still on track, Clayton Ward, Ryan Pizzakemi, and Cosman. I'm going to have to talk to Cosman about how to pronounce his last name there. Because I have no idea how to pronounce that. That's the driver of the 48 car, who I believe is just coming to... Oh! He's just punted himself into the end of... Because here is Brian Chambliss. He's going to celebrate his win here at Michigan. He's going to do it in style with the burnout. Oh, Sturgill sliding in to celebrate as well. Alright guys, with that, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have driver interviews. Make sure you guys stay tuned.
Definitely going to change everything when it comes to the finishing order of this race. Jeremy Miller, can he recover from that kind of damage?
Hello everyone and welcome down to the Milwaukee Mile. for the Output 100 presented by the one and only TJ Crampton. We're down here in Milwaukee, obviously, for Output Racing League round. Oh, geez, what round is this? Oh, no, it's been a couple of weeks. Give me a break. It's round number 12 from the Milwaukee Mile. Jonathan Hernandez won last week from Thomas Harmon and Brian Chambliss. And the way that the points are looking right now, I don't think you guys can see it just yet. But we've got Thomas Harmon on top by 8 points over Matt Horton, Jonathan Hernandez in third, Chris Champo fourth, and Matt Burgess in fifth. The way the standings are looking right now. We also have a new driver this week in the form of Paul Cox.
Corey wants a broadcast pit party.
And I should have had that muted. Sweet. Let's go see who we got on track right now. Let's see Brian Harris making a return to action. I've got Alexandra Butters as well. Paul Cox is on track. We also have the 12 and Matt Burgess on track. Let's bring up the standings as they sit at the moment. Brian Pizzakemi on top from Brian Guvon. He's in the 44 car, P2. Got Travis Mercer currently third, Matt Horton fourth, and Matt Burgess fifth. Looks like everyone's still struggling to get themselves sorted out here for the pit party. We might have to go for a second lap just because there's no inside lane. Out the front, we've got Travis Massey and Brian Pizzakemi on the front row. We've got Thomas Harmon and Brian Gavon on the second row. This is going to be the way I pronounce it. I'm sorry if it's wrong. Not really, though. Matt Burgess and Jonathan Hernandez, third row. With Brian Harris and Jonas Marquez, fourth row. Here we go. And they're off and racing. Great jump from the inside lane there. But Brian Pizzakemi was just asleep at the wheel a little bit. Go out 3 wide in some places. Oh, and that was a big wall contact. Brian Harris. In fact, it's not Brian Harris. Brian Harris is still going. There he is. Who was that hit the wall? Oh no, that was Brian Gavon. Was it Gouvion? Brian Gouvion? You know what? That actually looks like it's better fitted for his name. Brian Gouvion. Brian Gouvion, another rookie. Not sure whether he's making his first or his second start here today, but we'll find out. And he has made one start, so this is his second race. currently have 17 drivers for this race, 18 people in the session altogether, including myself. Strength of field currently sitting at a 2480. And let's see, Guvian has an 1854 I rating, 2.53 A class. Paul Cox has 1737 I rating for the B class, 2.31. A little bit of push and shove there as Brian Pizzicami is getting squeezed out. Brian Chambliss in the 21 car, currently sitting in 13th. He's got Paul Cox race inside. Paul Cox currently sitting in P6. This is a very interesting car. Very single lane around the bottom, and if you don't hit it just right, then you'll find yourself climbing up the track and burning up that right front massively. This is actually 12. I forgot that my time doesn't count. You see Jonas Marquez getting underneath the Paul Cox. He's moving slowly along the front straight. That's Mark Pentecoff on the outside of John Lazelle. Just behind that was Corey Williams. It's good to see Corey going again. Feel like it's been forever since we've seen him. My dog counted at least 5 forever since the last time we see Corey Williamson on track. Oh! And that was a hellacious hit for the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. The tie barrier on the inside wall and put the thing on the roof, instantly killing the engine. The one thing that's going to be a big worry here at this track though is going to be tyre spin on the restarts. Tyre spin very prevalent around this track. That right front is going to be very important on a long run. We've also got to think about the possibility of shifting down into third in these corners. Something I haven't seen a lot of people doing just yet, but maybe with a few laps on the tyres it becomes a viable option. Let's do a full rundown of the top 10 here. We've got Pizzicami on pole. Got Guvian, Masia, Horton, Burgess, Cox, Hernandez, Harris, Harmon, and Williamson as your top 10. Got Marquez 11th, Chambliss 12th, Pentecoff 13th, Chris Champeau 14th, Gonzalez in 15th, Butters in 16th, and Ken Campbell just sneaking into the 17th position. There's actually everyone in this server. There are 18 all together. Strength of field is now 25.33. Including myself, of course, being the 18th person in the server. Sorry, the 19th person in the server. I'm an idiot. I can read. Jonathan Hernandez put his way up into second place so far. Oh, and something's happened. Alright, we're back for attempt number 2 at this. The internet just absolutely fucking died in the ass. And that is my one for the broadcast. As you see, a couple of people still struggling with the exit of the corners. They might be on fresher tires. So we're just about to draw to a close in qualifying here. About 5 minutes left, 10 laps. Alright, so Brian Piscatini still sitting on top of the timetables right now. Jonathan Hernandez 2, Ryan Gouvian in 3, Horton 4, Massier in P5. As we've got a few more people in here now than what we had previously. We now have 19 drivers. Trying to look through at who the last one to come in was. And honestly, I can't tell. Actually, I do. As Mitchell Breesy in the 99 car. That brings the strength of field up to a 25.27. Michael with a 24.27 I rating, A-Class 2.64. Be his fourth start with the Output Racing League. There's John Lazone at 23. We jump over to Brian Harris in 8. And then back to Matt Horton in the 33. And then back to Harris, who has Matt Burgess going up his inside. Matt Burgess on a little bit fresher tyres. we enter the final minute of practice as Paul Cox turn 2 gave it a little bit too much standle. Paul Cox isn't Australian, much like myself, so it's going to be interesting to see how he handles this field. But we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will have the starting grid for today's race, so make sure you guys stay tuned because this is going to be an interesting one. So more from the Output 100 presented by TJ Crampton coming up shortly. Alright, we are back, and it's time to see who is starting where in our grid of drivers. And starting off the pole is going to be the 23 of John Lazelle. Not that he's on track just yet. Starting out of P2 is going to be the 13 of Travis Massia. There's John just coming into the screen now. P3 is going to be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez, with P4 the 38 of Thomas Harmon. P5 is going to be the 44 of Brian Gouvion. P6 is going to be the 99 of Mitchell Brissy. P7 is going to be the 39 of James Watson, with P8 going to be the 12 of Matt Horton. Oh, sorry, Matt Burgess. Too many Matts. P9 is going to be the 21 of Brian Chambliss, with P10 being the 2 of Chris Champeau. 11th is going to be Matt Horton, then we've got Ken Campbell, Brian Pizzakemi in 13th, Brian Harrison 14th, Frank Isaacson 15th, Alexandra Butters in 16th, Paul Cox 17th, Mark Pentecoff 18th, Jonas Marquez 19th, and Corey Williamson in P20. And only the top 10 will be eligible for the Hard Charger Award. And actually, quite hilariously, Brian Chambliss and Chris Champeau both qualifying with the same time in 9th and 10th. 30.159. Just waiting for everyone to hit the grid so we can get started for the Output 100 presented by TJ Crampton, who is actually MIA from this event. Field starts to roll now. But here we go, 100 laps of the Milwaukee Mile. We should expect at least a couple of cautions here, just due to the nature of the track. Remember to watch everyone for their wheel spin here on the start. First start is on green. All the restarts will be on the leader. Here we go. Pace car is in. And we're off and racing. The Output 100 presented by TJ Crampton from the Milwaukee Mile and the inside lane. What a start they just got. John Lazelle out into the lead. Jonathan Hernandez already taking over the second position from the 13 of Travis Massia. And everyone has survived turns 1 and 2. Now here comes Jonathan, looking like he wants to go for the lead. And he's going to get it in turns 3 and 4. Leader of the first lap is going to be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. And we have had not a single caution the whole time. See right at the very back, the 24, Frank Isaacson. He's actually half a lap down on the rest of the field, as I think we've had a drama with the 10 car. Alexandra Butters, let's see what happened to Butters here. Oh, just got a little bit loose on the entry to turn 1. Got half sideways. Managed to save it. Good job by Butters to get that thing going again. Looking in the mid-packs now. We're looking at James Watson in the 39. Just behind him, a little bit of battle. Just in front of him, a little bit of a battle as well. I can see the 2 of Chris Champeau trying to... Oh, and that was someone else having a bit of a drama. It was the partner, Mark Pentecoff, getting a little bit wrong coming out turn 2. Nice to pull it up before he hit the wall. There's Paul Cox in the 3. Looks like Travis Massia is involved in a little bit of a battle here himself, trying to get underneath the 44 of Brian Gouvion. Gouvion taking a very wide line, trying to get the momentum going to that truck down the straightaway. It's faster in the short run, but it's one way of really wearing out that right front tyre. Everyone's trying to don't hit that outside wall coming out of 2. And Gouvion actually handling this outside line really nicely. But it's starting to fade for him a little bit here, as you can see. As he now slots back into line behind Travis Masia. Masia now up into P4, Gouvion down to 5th. Again, I apologise to Brian if that is the way to pronounce his last name. Just the way that makes sense to me. And the way I pronounce it is right until I'm told otherwise. Speaking of battles, here's a 6-car battle pack. 12 of Matt Burgess moves his way up into 8. You see quite a few people in this little battle pack. Just behind Matt Horton, Brian Chambers, 3 wide. Oh, and that's going to be a caution. In fact, that was not a caution. Trying to see who that was. I can see the 99's there. 99 was involved in that. 78 of Brian Pizzakemi was the car that went around. So let's see if we can't see what happened there to do that exchange. Coming through turn 2. Oh, a little bit of netcode between Horton and the 99 of Bressie. Put these guys 3 wide. And unfortunately, just nowhere to go for either of those two. Another little netcode contact. And that put both these drivers up into the fence. And it looks like, oh, Jonas Marquez getting a little bit of netcode in that as well. But it's surprising that that was not a caution because Pizzakemi was completely spinning out sideways and around. I guess what happens at the back of the pack stays at the back of the pack. Champo in the 2-car. He's made his way up into P6. Gaining 4 from where he started so far. This is going to put him in hard charger contention. But let's see if he can maintain it. The top 3 pulled away from the rest of the field. Fernandez, Lizelle and Harmon. I'm not sure if Hernandez went a little bit too deep there. But here comes Lizelle looking up his inside now. He might have the momentum to maintain the lead. Oh, close quarters racing going into turn 1. Oh, and Lizelle is rubbing that ball coming out of turn 2. You can tell he's pushing that thing as hard as he can. He's taken a slightly wider entry than the other 2 in the top 3 here. Might have a better chance of sneaking up the inside this time. Doesn't quite have the run going for him. But he's still going to keep trying as Hernandez gets the wider run through turn 1. This is actually a really intense battle going on here. You know, they're not side by side, but it's all a big chess game. They're our top three. Go see if we can check in with some battles that are happening throughout the field. We'll go set it to focus on crashes. And we're looking at Matt Burgess in the 12. He's got Matt Horton behind him. Chris Champagne and Brian Chambliss. It looks like the 99 car has gone into the pits. It's very unfortunate to see. Also, I'm pretty sure the 78 is going to be OUT out of this race, but I'm pretty sure that that was an engine that went boom for him. Oh, and we've had some shuffling going on at the front of the field. We've got a battle going on. Somehow Hernandez has dropped back to third. John Lazelle has taken the lead from Thomas Harmon now, as he stamps his spot on the lead with authority. Going very wide coming out of turn 4 though. That's opened the door completely open to Thomas Harmon. Thomas Harmon retakes the lead very swiftly indeed. Thundering down the back straight. Lazelle is all over that back bumper of Thomas Harmon. Bring up the ticker now, which should have been up a few laps ago at least. It looks like Thomas Harmon's starting to extend his lead now, so I'm guessing that John Lazelle's actually started to burn up his right front tyre more than the other two around him. Jonathan Hernandez is just a little bit stuck by virtue of this place not being too easy to pass on. It's hard to get a good run out of the corner to get an overtake started, especially once the right front starts wearing out a bit. we're almost reaching the 1/4 way through the race point. Hernandez is now trying to look for a move to try and move himself up into the second position. The leaders are also starting to close in on lap traffic, less than a 1/4 of a lap away from that, as we have reached the 1/4 way through the race point. Start of lap 26, that's 25 down, 75 to go. And we are going to go for a commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue on with the racing action, and we'll go all the way through to green flag pit stops, so make sure you guys stay tuned. And we are back for the Output Racing 100 presented by TJ Crampton. Jonathan Hernandez has made his way around John Lizelle. And John Lizelle is starting to fade a little bit more now. Thomas Harmon still well and truly out in the lead. Jonathan Hernandez, the fastest lap of the race, 30.230. Not sure what lap he set that on, but it's set. That's the way it's set. It's a big dive from the 21 of Brian Chambliss onto the back of Matt Horton. Back here, definitely battling pretty hard. As now we've got Matt Horton getting around Travis Massia, and Massia now stuck on the outside. Guvian is going to get around him, and Chambliss is in with a shot too. Chambliss has a really good entry into the corners. Just dives it in deep and it just sticks. I wish this track had like a static track shots. We could do a crank it up. That'd be absolutely sick. I have a couple of cameras on like the ripple strips on the inside of the corners. There goes Chambliss now, making a move on Gouvion. He's got the run. It's Brian on Brian. Both of them felt the exact same way. Brian passed Brian for the 5th position. As our leader Thomas Harmon is in heavy lap traffic right now. I say heavy, he got around Frank a while ago, now he's trying to get around Mark. There's a lap car between Hernandez and Lozelle. We've got 4 Bryans racing again. 2 of them spelt with an I and 2 of them spelt with a Y. As now Thomas Harmon is back into clear air. I don't think it'll be too much longer before Hernandez is able to get around Pentacuff. Pentacuff usually very cordial with the leading traffic. And we should be about 10 laps away from maybe seeing some green flag stops here. With this very unique pit entry. You really got to set up your pit entry early coming out of turn 4. Now, you can't be as on the gas as you normally would be because you got to cut down to the inside very quickly, or else you risk missing the pit entry altogether. Thomas Harmon still well and truly in control of this race. A 1.2 second lead right now. Focusing on crashes, it goes straight to Travis Massio. So apparently iRacing thinks Massio is going to be the next Pringle. Matt Horton gets around some of the lap traffic. Brian Chambliss is about to get around Mark as well. There's the 3 of Paul Cox. He's currently sitting in P7. Up 10 positions from where he started. So not bad on debut, sitting up there in the upper echelons of the order. Paul Cox is someone that I've actually known for a while. Part of my Dirt Oval racing team. Go to CJ Crampton. And Paul Cox is actually the setup for it. He's catching up to the back of Guvion there, sitting in P6 in the 44 car. Guvion caught up a little bit by the lap of Frank Isaacson. That traffic around here is going to be absolutely key, as we do have someone coming into the pits already. I think that's the 39 of James Watson, who's just gone a lap down. Looks like Thomas Harmon's about to enter some more lap traffic. Back there is James Watson just ahead of him. Then to the 10 of Alexandra Butters. And Butters has been overtaken quite quickly. Go back to focusing on crashes. Travis Massia, as he has already made his pit stop. Butters has come in for his stop now. Christian Poe's made a stop. Ken Campbell's just come into the pits. So we officially reached the halfway point, 50 laps down, 50 to go. We'll be starting to see a lot more people come into the pit lane shortly. And we've just had TJ Crampton saunter into the chat. And he kind of forgot that there was a race on today. That's unfortunate. But nevertheless, the Alpha 100 presented by Mr. TJ Crampton is still going ahead as planned. Those ripple strips can be very loud sometimes. As Paul Cox has entered the pits, he's been in there for 20 seconds so far. John Lazelle up in this battle. He's in P5 as he's letting a couple of the lap cars get past him. Travis Massier and Chris Champeau. John Lazelle, who was our pole sitter. The 23 of John Lazelle has just entered the pits. Our two leaders, Thomas Harmon and Jonathan Hernandez, still have not pitted yet. It's going to be interesting to see how it's all going to unfold when we come back to everyone cycling through the pit cycle. I mean, this could just be a plan for Harmon and Hernandez to have a better right front towards the end of the race. Which, if we get a caution flag, is definitely going to help them out. Also have quite a few people who will get trapped a lap down. There's the two of Chris Champeau making a move on Brian Chambliss, who was on the lead lap in third. Lazelle's just behind him as well. Jonas Marquez has entered the pits. We only have 6 cars left to pit in the race. And we have a caution on the track. Trying to work out who it is and where they are. Oh, and it's Frank Isaacson, who has spun coming to the pit entry. No, he's just spun coming out of turn 4 altogether. Big drifty action. Does he manage to keep it off the inside fence? No, he gives it a whack. And that's still actually quite the solid impact there with the inside wall. But there is our first caution of the race. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break now. 6 cars on the lead lap. We're going to see how many will take a wave around when we come back. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And we are back for the Output 100 presented by TJ Crampton. We have the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez, who has stolen the lead away from Thomas Harmon in the pit cycle. But this is excellent for Chambliss, Horton, Burgess, Massier, and Harris, who all stayed out with our leading bunch and are in excellent position right now. Travis Massio got the lucky dog wave around as well, so he's looking pretty good as well. Travis, by the looks of things, decided to not pit. We'll just wait for a second to see how our top 10 is going to be forming up here. Because we're going to have a long line on the inside, as there's going to be a lot of wave rounds. Lights are out on the pace car, so it's going to be Hernandez, Harmon, Chambliss, Horton, Burgess, Harris, Massio, Champeau, Lizelle, and Campbell as the top 10. And behind Travis Massio is going to be a long line of cars getting wave rounds. That's if the field catches them. Now remember, all restarts are on the leader, so Jonathan Hernandez is the control car. He also chose the inside lane for the restart. The pace car is in. We're off and racing.
Go, go, go. Green flag.
Thomas Harmon managing to hold on to the second position there. We're in the final countdown for laps here. 36.5 laps to go. There wasn't as much wheel spin as I would have expected for the restart there, especially with how many people are on older tyres, but saying that, they didn't even have a chance to catch the rest of the field before they could get going. You can see a clear disparity between tyres. The top 6 have pulled away from 7th on back. I'm actually really surprised that Travis Massio decided to not come in and take a second set of tyres on that caution. And he only had 11 laps on them, but, you know, 11 laps is still 11 laps. But what a return to racing here at the Output Racing League for Brian Harris. He's up in P6 right now. Brian Chambliss up 6 positions from where he started. Sitting in 3rd. Started out of P9. Matt Horton's up 7 from where he started. He's in 4th. He started P11. Jonathan Hernandez leading the way with Thomas Harmon all over his tailgate. Similarly, Brian Harris actually all over the tailgate at the 12 of Matt Burgess. Him searching around looking for a place to try and pass. And it looks like as far as the Battle of the Bryans goes, the eyes are beating the Y's. It looks like Thomas Harmon got the move going on up the inside of Jonathan Hernandez. Hernandez breaks early, allowing Thomas Harmon through. Harmon now leading the way. He's definitely going to have the led the most lap points. As we now reach lap 75, at the completion of this lap, there will be only 25 laps left to run here for the Output 100 presented by TJ Crampton. Nobody saw anything. The top four are actually really close together right now. Matt Burgess has pulled a little bit of a gap over Brian Harris, and there's a big gap between the two Matts, between Horton and Burgess. Our top four only separated by a second. It's the gap between Harmon and Matt Horton. The lap times between these four, very similar pace indeed. It's mostly just like hundredths of a second between them. And to think Brian Harris was almost not going to do this race, just for the sheer fact of he's only just recently got triple strings installed. He used to be a VR racer, and he's up there in P6 right now due to a brilliant strategy plan. But he does have the 23 of John Lozelle starting to close in on him. Then 2 of the 3 of Paul Cox, who's sitting in 8th. Paul Cox on debut, up 9 positions from where he started. Started in 17th. But it looks like this is just going to be the status quo for the race now, as we've got 20 laps to go. We're still going to be watching this battle from 2nd through 4th. Thomas Harmon starting to pull away now. Gained 3/10 over the last 2 laps on 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And these guys are still running awesome pace. But the top 3 especially just trumping the rest of the field right now. Where Matt Horton is still pulling some good times relative to the rest of the field. He's just not quite on the same level as our top 3. Who are consistently, zeroing each other out with the times that they're pulling. And that time Matt Horton lost 2/10 to the top 3. Laps to go. Well, if we get a late race caution here, this is going to change the entire scope of this race. It's going to be a question of who pits, who doesn't. Is there enough tyres for the amount of laps left to be able to work your way through to the front? This tyre wear might not be much around, especially if you drive slow like me, but very easy to burn up that right front, as I just saw the 78 Brian Pizzakemi re-enter the track. After getting taken out on lap 7, there he is. He's 80 laps down. go back to looking at this battle for second between Hernandez and Chambliss. Question starts to beg, what does Chambliss have compared to Hernandez? Can he take over that second position? Ten to go. Big dive from Chambliss into turn one. Nothing doing there though. To 39, Paige Watson just up ahead. Oh, the speculator from Chambliss. Hernandez running a slightly higher line to get the extra momentum. And it doesn't look like it's quite worked out for him. Another speculator being thrown by Chambliss now. Hernandez trying to stay on that slightly grippier asphalt on the inside line. And it's not going to work. Here comes Chambliss now. Take over that second position. Hernandez goes as deep as he dares. Chambliss has the legs on the inside. Just behind them is Pizzicami on his fresher tyres, and Chambliss with the advantage takes over second. Hernandez is now going to fight tooth and nail to try and get that back with the 7.5 laps remaining in this race. Hernandez taking a slightly wider entry into the corners, trying to find a good exit to work on Chambliss. But it's not going to work out for him because he's starting to lose time now. Absolutely losing time to Chambliss. So he's burnt out that right front, trying to hold up to Thomas Harmon. And it's just like he doesn't quite have the grip. Five to go. Does Chambliss have anything for Harmon? Wouldn't that be a story if he could chase him down and pass him in 5 laps? But you also got to think Hernandez is still right here in third. He hasn't completely lost touch with Chambliss. He might have just been cooling his right front out a little bit. So he seems like he's starting to get back on the charge once more. Hence why he's taking that slightly wider entry into the corner. And he's going to get back onto the tail tank of Chambliss here. Can you tell I've been watching a lot of oval, like dirt oval racing lately? Right on the tailgate now. Does Hernandez have a move going into turn 3? Not this time. Looking for a good run coming out of turn 4. Chambliss goes defensive, 2 to go. Chandler's again going defensive with the inside line. If Hernandez is going to pass him, he's going to have to do it the hard way around the outside. There's not too often you see an outside pass working around Milwaukee. White flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it. And Hernandez sticking there with Chambliss. He's actually got his nose ahead in the mid-corner. We're going to have to keep an eye on our leader now, Thomas Harmon. He's coming out of turn 4. Your winner here, the Milwaukee Mile for the Output Racing 100 presented by TJ Crampton. It's going to be the 38 of Thomas Harmon. And it looks like Chambliss is going to hold on to P2 over Hernandez. Matt Horton's going to come home in 4th. And Matt Burgess is coming home P5. Great little battle there towards the end of the race between Chambliss and Hernandez. Chambliss doing everything he needed to do to maintain that second position. But now let's get some celebratory burnouts out of the way here for our winner, Thomas Harmon. It's great to see Ryan Pizzacami making it back out on track just to complete some more laps. All right, we're going to go to a commercial break now. When we come back, we're going to have driver interviews, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, we are back, and it's time for driver interviews. As soon as I get the right car up on the screen, kicking things off with our third place getter here today. Of course, it's the one and only Mr. Jonathan Hernandez. Jonathan, a great race out there. A little bit of strategy at play with the fall of the caution, the way that it did, and an epic battle to finish things off.
Oh yeah, I want to start off with congratulating Thomas. We fought a hard race, and of course Brian right there towards the finish. Yeah, it was overall a great race over a track I'm not too familiar with. The caution when it flew was pretty much timely because I was planning on pitting pretty much the same lap it fell, so can't complain with that. And of course, we got the lead after stops, live laps, which is pretty much the goal. Try to get a good finish of the race. And yeah, I mean, great battle with Chandler's right there towards the end. I'd noticed that, or not noticed, I could hear it that he was downshifting, and I don't know if that was one of the factors that I don't know if that was just the main reason why he's was quicker than me, or if he just saved a little bit more than I did. But I copied what he did, started downshifting, and you know close battle towards the finish.
Now let's talk about the start of the race. There should have been a caution out there early. When you heard that there was a crash going on towards the back of the pack, were you expecting maybe a caution to come out?
Yeah, I was hearing, over the radio that there was something happening behind, and I looked in the mirror and I could see smoke. So, I was expecting caution, and with how early it was, I'm pretty sure nobody was going to pit that early. So, uh, I think the plan was just to fall in and see where it was, but no caution, and just kept going with what I had.
All right, now let's talk about the staying out as long as you could, like waiting for that caution to come out. You said that you had planned on stopping on that lap. Why were you planning on pitting so late in the green flag run?
Well, around after the halfway mark, I noticed that me and Thomas were pretty much matching times. He was, one lap would be quicker by a tenth, the next lap I would be quicker by a tenth, so we were pretty much even. And originally, I was gonna pit about a lap or two before the caution flew, but I got distracted and I ended up missing coming in, so I decided to stay a little bit longer. And around the caution lap, it was either gonna be that lap or the next lap after, where I was gonna come in, see if I could undercut Thomas since we were matching long run pace, and see if I could come out ahead of him, and then we'll just fight it out towards the finish.
Now let's talk about the end of the race there. Chambliss got underneath you with a big dive bomb move up into turn one. What was the feeling like just having that little bit of a battle towards the end of the race? And did you think you were going to be able to get him on the outside run there?
Well, Chambers, he's a clean racer, so I trusted him the with how he's entering corners. You know, people would say turn one he was dive bombing it, but I think that's just a line you have to take here with how the corner's angled. But I trusted him enough. I knew it was going to be a battle trying to protect the position, but and switching it around and actually having to attack for the position after learning he was downshifting, and I figured I might as well try it. It wouldn't hurt. If anything, I would probably lose a position to Matt Horton. Uh, but it ended up working out. Uh, I was pretty much quicker than him. Thomas was pretty much gone by then. Um, but yeah, so I I stole something out of Chandler's book and tried it. It worked out. Up until the near finish, I just got a little loose coming out of four, coming to the line, and I don't know if that would made a big difference or not. But I mean, overall, can't be disappointed with the third.
Absolutely not. But now let's look forward to next week. Next week, we're going to Talladega, where literally anything can happen. What's the feeling like for you heading into the super speedway of the Talladega?
Main thing, don't let what happened at Daytona happen again. We were in good position at Daytona, involved in the big one, of course, and took us out of contention. So I think heading to next week, which I think it's 70 or 60 laps. It's a long
60.
race. 60 laps, yeah, it's still a long race, and of course, people decide when to pit, depending if we have green flag run or not. With the truck package at super speedways, it's unknown. It's all bunched up and tight, so I think we're going to see, you know, a lot of wrecks. I think if we don't have them early, we're going to have a bunch of them towards the end, and I think just key to that race is just surviving, being there towards the finish.
All right, now before we let you go, we know you got a few people that you got to thank. So let's get your thanks out of the way now.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm laughing at Thomas. Thomas thinks I'm taking too long. Thomas, I'll cut it into your interview time also. But no, I like to thank everyone at my team at Triad Racing Enterprises, our sponsors, Stint Analyzer, A Log Projects, uh, Souza Media, our RPMMotorsports.com, and everyone over there pretty much putting on all the work for the Road to Pro series, and then we'll probably do something with the Coke series eventually. So uh, can't thank them enough. Of course, my family. Uh, Today was actually my grandfather's birthday, so I want to say happy birthday to him. And of course, my birthday's Thursday, so I'll take a third place for my birthday, and of course, my lovely girlfriend who always supports me.
Well, as it's Wednesday here, happy birthday for tomorrow. Look forward to
Thank you.
a long and very drunk celebration. And
Of course.
we'll look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we head to Talladega.
Alrighty, appreciate it, Corey.
All right, guys, this is our third place getter, 88 of Mr. Jonathan Hernandez. Coming up next, he didn't just finish second today, but he's also our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner. And our hard charger is, of course, the 21. Once I start clicking all the right buttons, of Mr. Brian Chambliss. Brian, fantastic race view out there. A little bit of pit strategy working into play to get you back towards the front. And, all in all, a great little battle there towards the end of the race with Jonathan as well.
Yeah, started back in ninth and wasn't the qualifying effort I was looking for, but right there before that caution, I was able to work my way up to third, and that's really kind of what saved my race. At least the caution got me to where I was, at least erased the track position deficit I was in from the start. But it was a lot of fun. I guess I was driving it quite a bit different than some other guys, so we were able to save a little bit tires better then. But all in all, it's good to at least go forward.
Jonathan was telling us in his interview that he noticed you were starting to downshift, and that's where he started catching up to you. How long were you downshifting for, and what was the strategy behind deciding when to start downshifting?
I was downshifting pretty much the whole race, except for maybe the first couple of laps. I felt that it kind of let the right front hang on a little bit more. I don't know. I was shifting the whole race, so it seemed to help in the long run. At least I was able to get it move around quite a bit of guys. So just couldn't get Thomas.
Now, what was your pit strategy going to be before that caution came out? Because we know that you were running long, and you caught the caution very luckily while you were still on the lead lap and not pitted yet. So, what was the pit strategy like for you as you were trying to figure it out?
I was checking my lap times compared to Thomas and those guys up there, and I realized that at the end of that run, I was faster than them. So my idea was that I was gonna, hang out there a couple laps longer. That way, when I got back out there, I would still be on the attack mode. So that was kind of the case, but it just depends on how long they were going to stay out. If they stayed out really, really long, then it really wouldn't matter because I wouldn't have had enough time to get back to them. So it was really kind of just playing off of what those guys were doing. So
All right, mate, no worries. Looking forward towards next week. We're going to the Talladega Super Speedway. What's it feeling like to you heading out to Talladega?
I mean, it's Talladega. Anything and everything normally kind of happens there. You never know. It could be a full green flag race, or we could get one caution that takes out quite a bit of the field. It's just the nature of Daytona. You got to, or wherever a super speedway is. It's just the nature of super speedway racing. One mistake can take some guys out, and just hoping and praying you're not part of it and still there at the end and got the least amount of damage.
All right, now we know you got a few people that you got to thank here tonight. So, who you got to shout out this week?
Yeah, I just thank the league for putting this on, and you for doing the broadcast, and my family who's ready for me to get back to dinner. And that's it. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, thank you very much for coming out, Brian. We look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we head to Talladega.
See you then.
So there's our second place getter, Brian Chambliss, and that's Brian with an I, just for everyone to know, because the I's beat the Y's this week. But coming up next, we got our race leaguer, race winner. Words are hard, and I think if my calculations are correct, our leader in the point standings as well. Of course, the 38 of Mr. Thomas Harmon. Thomas, pretty much a dominant
How's it
race
going?
for you out there tonight. You're leading almost the whole way through.
Yeah, I really didn't expect that, to be honest. I expected to maybe be top five, top three, with the way practice was going. Other guys could definitely crank faster laps, but I knew it'd burn their right fronts. But I didn't expect to be up front as long as I was all day.
Now let's talk about the pit stop strategy before that caution came out. When were you planning to pit? And we know that the pit stop was obviously like very beneficial to you. But what happened when you came into the pit lane that made you lose the lead?
Uh, my pit crew turning a very clutch 14.5 second stop lost me the lead there. But the strategy going before that was basically you just go one lap after Jonathan, so that way he couldn't get the lead. There's a hard fall off on the lap times, so I knew if the guys behind us pit that they would have to short pit um, to even get close to us. Otherwise, we just run away from them because it looked like Chambliss was catching us there at the end or at the end of that long run, but it wasn't anything big. Um, and any of his big chunks came when I was getting held up by lap traffic, but overall strategy was just one lap later than Jonathan.
All right, well, it's a fairly solid strategy, and it has worked out in the past before. I know it has. But let's talk about that restart. Obviously, starting out a second, the outside of the front row, it definitely changes the whole dynamic of the race, especially when the leader has control of the restart. So, what was the thought process for you going into that restart, and then having the top four just staying so bunched up for the majority of the rest of the race?
I expected Jonathan to get out to a lead there, and we'd go 5-10 laps with me just cruising behind him. It's kind of what we did in that first long run, and I was able to pass him fairly easily after about 10-15 laps. I don't remember how long it was, but I kind of expected that to be the same thing again. Fortunately, it played out. Um, and as the other uh, Horton and Chambliss, I figured would stay with us, pushing it a little bit harder than what they did in the first stint. But I was hoping that Jonathan would be able to hold him up. It looked like everybody kept good pace once I got by Jonathan, but once I started shifting, I opened it up a little bit and managed to hold on.
All right, now let's look forward towards next week, Thomas. Going to be going to the Talladega Super Speedway where literally anything can happen. What's the thought process like for you heading into Talladega next week?
Pray mainly. um, just kind of ride around, get a feel for how everybody's feeling that night, and attack when it's necessary.
All right, well, congratulations on getting the win here tonight again. And who you got to give a shout out to this week?
Shout out to you up in the booth for broadcasting it to everybody, all the fans that show up and watch each week, all the drivers that show up, league admins, Jaron for hosting the league, and Avril on the hood.
Always got to have Avril on the hood, and it's always good to see her in victory lane, right?
Agreed.
All right, man. Thank you very much for coming out. Congratulations on getting the win once more, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Talladega.
Thank you. I'll see you there.
All right, guys. So that was our winner today, 38 of Mr. Thomas Harmon, and I'm pretty sure he has taken up the top mantle in the standings. But that's going to wrap it up for us today. I just want to give a quick shout out. Paul Cox on debut, finishing P9, going +8 for the race, and Brian Gouvion as well, finishing in 8th. Great job. And Brian Harris coming back to the league after a really long hiatus, going +7, finishing in 7th. Great effort from those guys. But that's going to wrap things up for us here this week at the Milwaukee Mile. Thank you all for coming out and having a watch. We look forward to seeing what happens next week when we go to the Talladega Super Speedway. It should definitely be a very interesting one. So until then, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. We'll see you guys next week.